Hey guys, Tara here for Rev3 Games, and today I'm going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Rogue, which is just one of the 2 Assassin's Creed games coming out this year. I would not blame anyone for being confused about them. The wording is a little bit difficult. So just for clarification, this is a direct sequel to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, but it also has ties in with Assassin's Creed 3 as well as Assassin's Creed Unity, which is the other game that's going to be coming out this year. It does focus on a new character, Shay Patrick Cormac, who basically gets betrayed by the Assassins and decides to join up with the Templars. So this is the first time you'll be able to get a perspective from the side of the Templars, which is really cool. The demo I played yesterday, we got about 3 or 4 hours of hands-on time with the game. We started at the beginning of Sequence 3 and then sort of jumped to Sequence 5. Sequence 3 starts in New York, where Shay is basically recovering after being betrayed, but the area of the city that he's staying in keeps getting terrorized by gangs. So he decides to take matters into his own hands and essentially kill off all of the gangs in this city. So as far as activities you can do in the city go, it is very similar to Assassin's Creed 4, but I would venture to say that there are actually more side missions you can do in Rogue. One of the new things is gang HQs, which are basically assassin-controlled locations that you can sort of take over and liberate, and then that opens up that part of the map to reveal other kinds of side activities. There are also military settlements you can liberate, which unlock these things called assassin interception contracts, which are a different kind of contract, a new one where you can intercept messenger pigeons and then use the intel you gain from that to stop assassin contracts from being taken out. So it's kind of like in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, if you remember the assassin contract side missions, you're literally experiencing that, but from the opposite side. So you're now on the Templar side of things. There are also Renovations, which is a new side activity. So this is basically going to be, I think I got the feeling it was kind of your primary source of income in the game. You basically gather enough resources to perform building renovations, and then you can renovate buildings and you get a ton of money. What's cool about these is that as you renovate buildings, you can actually see the facade of the building change. So if you do this to a bunch of buildings around the city, then you'll see the city sort of evolve from this very poor place into this very affluent one. As far as things they've added outside of the optional missions, there are a few new weapons, one of which is the grenade launcher. With that one, you can use either sleep or shrapnel grenades. Sleep grenades are really cool. You can fire those into a crowd of enemies and basically put all of them to sleep at one time instead of having to use the little darts, which only work on one person. And then shrapnel grenades you can use to blow up big stuff. The way we used it in our demo was we destroyed a production plant that gangs were using in order to manufacture poisons. So, new weapons, yay. Those are the major things you can do inside of the cities, but remember Rogue, since it is a direct sequel to Assassin's Creed 4, also has a significant chunk of naval gameplay. I would say about half of the time we spent with the game yesterday was focused on that, and given what I saw from the map, it seems like the ratio of land-to-water gameplay is pretty much the same as it was in AC4. I would say maybe around 40% naval combat and then 60% land gameplay. Not much has really changed with regards to the naval gameplay itself, except for the fact that you are now captaining the ship Morgan instead of the Jackdaw, which has a few new weapons, one of which is the Puckle Gun, which sounds really weird. It's basically a machine gun you can use against ships that are already damaged. So if you hit a ship with, say, your cannon, a little red dot will appear and it'll be like, press RB, right bumper, and you can press that and it'll just shoot additional damage at them without you really even having to aim at all. There are also burning oil now, which you can leave a trail of behind you to damage ships that are chasing you. Those are the primary ones, but apart from that, naval combat is pretty much exactly the same. You still take down other ships, you still take over enemy forts, you still upgrade your ship in basically the same way. And then of course the naval campaign part where you can add ships to your fleet and then send those off on separate side missions. All of that stuff is almost exactly the same with maybe a few minor changes here and there. They have said that enemies will now be able to board your ship. I didn't actually experience that in any of the parts of the game that I played yesterday. Apparently it only happens if your ship gets rammed by another ship. So either that just doesn't happen all that often, or I'm just really that good at taking down ships. I'm guessing it's probably the former. Either way, I had a lot of fun with this game. If you were a fan of AC4, then I would say you pretty much know what you're gonna get with Rogue, which is kind of a good thing and then also kind of a bad thing. AC4 was such a bold direction for the franchise in terms of gameplay that it felt really fresh at the time, whereas with Rogue, I feel like a lot of that novelty has maybe worn off. That said, it is also the first time we get to see things from the Templar's perspective, as I mentioned. So if you're really into the story of Assassin's Creed, then you'll probably appreciate being able to view things from that angle. Seeing as how it is the conclusion of the North American saga, I have to say I am a little bit confused as to why they decided to not put this on PS4 and Xbox One, especially since AC4 was on those consoles. And I'm guessing they probably wanted people who don't own those newer consoles to be able to finish the series that they started on previous ones. But I do think the game suffers a little bit because of that, and maybe this is, again, just because AC4 looked so good on PS4, but the Xbox 360 version, which is the version that we played, just is not good in comparison. There is a silver lining to that though, which is that Ubisoft just today announced that the game will be coming out on PC in addition to PS3 and 360, albeit it won't be at the same time. So if you have a PC you could play it on and you're willing to wait, I would highly recommend you choose the PC version over the console versions just because it looks so much better. I haven't seen it, but you know, it's PC, nature of the beast. So both the Xbox 360 and the PS3 versions do release on November 11th of this year. They have not announced a release date for the PC version yet, but I was told it would be coming out early next year, so probably a few months after. As always, if you guys have any questions about the game, I am more than happy to answer them. Just get in touch with me on Twitter @TerraLongest. Otherwise, thanks for watching.
Take care.
Yeah. So yeah, while it's obviously not the original voice acting, it's still what you'd expect from Resident Evil. It's still just delightfully corny. So this is sort of the first real room you want to enter in the mansion. And if you see me wiggling around a lot, it's because I'm adjusting to the new